The thing about that, if you do drag and drive, everyday life is easy because it's
Mhm.
like if you don't have a flat tire and the wheel come off and tear a fender off the trailer, it's like, man, what'd you really do today? You know.
That's
So
exactly right. All right, guys, welcome to episode 110 of the Drag Drive Repeat Show presented by Summit Racing. Dude, tonight we've got a crazy show. All right, and the Deechworks part. We're going to talk about your stuff now because you guys had some fun. So at Deechworks, if you need any kind of fuel component, if you need fuel pumps, anything fuel delivery related, they got it. Filters, regulators, pumps, pump modules, all this kind of stuff. What they really do well is late model modules. While we were there and got the tour, they were working on a system that is drop in ready for a GTR capable of 3,000 horsepower. Triple 810
wow.
pumps, and just drops in same spot, locks into the same factory harness, plugins and everything. So pretty incredible work over there. Deechworks.com. You can see how to spell it here on the screen. I'm not going to try and spell that for you. It's crazy, and their customer support is unmatched.
Their website's great too. It's
Oh,
very
man.
knowledgeable and they got a good website.
Yep. So this segment is about you. So not only are you a co-host, you're like I guess you really are guest co-host. So
Yeah.
you're kind of the guest now. So let's talk about some of these things. I want to talk about how much fun you had at Mega Week. Some stories. I think I sent you the notes
Yeah.
for man, give me 2 or 3 stories of
Yeah.
just stuff that went down. So first I want to talk about the car power
Yeah.
plant, and then you had the coolest co-pilot.
For sure.
So
She
talk
got
to
a
us.
trophy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Was it
So
because her love for you? I can see the love here in this photo.
I tell you what, guys, she did one of the circuit races with me in the Nova, and that's what turned her off from doing the drag and drive with me. Period. Like I've went several years without her. She did 2019. She did with me in the Nova. That's when it got named the gas chamber, and she hated every second of it. It made her sick because the fumes were so bad in the car. That's not her thing, So me, I was just used to it. It's every old car I drive. Most of them got the exhaust plumbed into the cabin, just because.
Yeah.
But me and her talked, and the deal come up to buy the 67 with James, and me and her had already decided we were going to do a car that was more comfortable for us to drive. I just my thing is I've really struggled the last couple of years as far as finishing and even placing, and I told her there's easier ways to lose. So you don't have to work near as hard to lose as I've been working to lose. So I told her I wanted a car that was more comfortable, and we could get we traveled in the car.
They said, did it make her
No, it did. No, it didn't make her throat hurt, John. It did not. So there's some inside joke to that. John actually, a real good friend of mine, he bought the exhaust and the headers and exhaust off my car from when it had the big block combo in it. And one of his friends rode with him and said it made his throat hurt. So that was Bo Pickard. So
nice. Yeah.
so anyway, so we got something that we can enjoy, and we did this one without a trailer, which we'll be working on getting a trailer. Oh, and the best shot of the car is me working on it. There's some great pictures of me working on the car. This literally the only thing I did during the week is I changed the oil and I changed the plugs once and broke a brake line on the starting line.
Dude.
Of all the weird things. I pulled up there to do a burnout, and the car, it just kind of shuddered a little bit, like it was struggling to do a burnout. I was a little bit out of the water, and I just mashed the brake pedal harder, and the brake pedal went to the floor. And luckily I was right there, and I just shut it off, and we pushed it back.
Yep.
So we always need to take time and count our blessings, because that could have been a whole lot worse. If that had happened, we were in heavy traffic in Dallas the night before, and it could have happened then. It could have happened when I was down at the end of the track making the pass, getting ready to make the turn. I mean, there was, other than the photo opportunity for all the guys to take really good photos of being broken, there was no better place for that to happen.
Yeah, definitely. And
so
it was great. Like when you pulled up, I heard it shut off. I was like, what is going on? And then you were just out, and you're like, push it back. And so, yeah, you did. I mean, obviously it's not a hard repair. It is kind of wild, and it's a great thing it happened right there.
Oh, it was great. Everybody kind of went out of their way. With the other car, I actually, with the Nova, I actually carry spare brake lines. And this car being a new car, and I didn't have any spares. That's just one of the things that I always think about, because those things are braided and they flex. And the other car, I even have DOT brake lines on there, because DOT actually has to pack past the spec. This car didn't have DOT brake lines on it. it's just one of those things that we just, I've done it myself, just built a car and threw stuff on it, and but it's going to be getting the brake lines changed, and I couldn't get parts quick enough to Frankie and Angie Shepard. They took off. They jumped in their vehicle and they ran to Summit to get me a brake line, and they weren't going to be back in time for me to be able to finish. So I took a pair of vice grips and I clamped the brake line off, and I just drove down to take my. I especially didn't want to be out the first time with the new car and not finish. And then what I'd done to get there, a lot of people don't know. I'd bought some pieces. I'd bought a short block and bought some top end pieces, and I put a motor together, and it was bad. It had real bad blow by. So I had a friend that had a shop loan me a motor. So I went and pulled the motor out of his car, put it in my car, and the car had 0 passes in it. I had 0 passes on the car since I'd owned it. That includes street passes, and I had 0 passes at the track. So when I lined up at Tulsa and drove, and when I made the pass down the track, that was literally the first pass it made.
Wow.
And my first pass in the car also.
That's
so,
awesome. And
so
it's a proven car. It's James Lowry.
it is. Yeah. Absolutely.
So it had done what it was supposed to, and that's where like the benefit of that car came from. Because man, it's
absolutely
cool. It's got a great history.
The car was proven. The motor is proven. So I wasn't stressed about that. I was just stressed about getting there. So
yep. Yeah, to thrash like that, dude, you know how hard that is,
yeah.
man. It's hard to thrash like that ahead of it.
My friends always say, man, why don't you just start sooner? Like, why do you wait to the last minute? And I'm like, I've only owned this car like 3 weeks. What do you mean?
Yeah, right. That's exactly right. Yeah, Melissa Morrow here, great photographer, says moments matter. It's not always about pretty car pics. That's for sure.
That's right. Yeah.
And you did it with some cool shots. I didn't take all of them from your Facebook page or ours. Even I know Eric grabbed it, several of them of you working on it there in the front. But dude, like there were people that were helping. It was really cool.
Yeah, the guys from Quick Performance, they really went out of their way. They come out there with a bag full of lines and fittings and everything. But my car had old. Hey, bub, my car's got old X-body calipers on it, so it's not something you should start. Don't you start sooner? That's right.
Yeah.
Thanks,
why
Chris.
don't you start sooner? Yeah.
Hey, Chris, how'd your drive shaft come out?
Yeah.
We're going to take jabs.
He picked up an extra in Oklahoma City because he just knew something was going to happen. And what's funny is we did get the old truck ready after just the beating I took in Waffle House that night.
Absolutely.
We did get the truck ready, and it made it 400 feet on the drag strip. It made it. I've probably put 150 miles on it here, and I was pretty mean to it. And Chris said the drive shaft came out really violently.
Yeah, it's what it looked like to me.
That's awesome. William Hogan here says, if another mega week happens, hint, hint, I do believe I'm signing up for both A and B stick shift.
Oh gosh, you're an animal, dude.
It's crazy. Let's tell a few more stories because I want to talk to Matt about this double A and B stuff.
So we had a really good time, and like I said, the only maintenance I did is set spark plugs and change the oil in the car, and we not driving the car. It's got a 390 gear and a 26-inch tire, and it's got a real low RPM motor in it. We did the whole drive at 50 mile an hour. That's yeah.
Ouch.
So our group that had intended on traveling together, we split into 2 groups. My friend Chad Maggard, I told him, I said, dude, you're a trooper, because his truck will cruise 80, and he hung with me the whole time. And I let the rest of our group go ahead of us, and I told him, I said, hey, if you have any trouble, you'll be in front of us. And I had just Frankie Shepard and Emmy Shepard, they were in the little Chevy tube. I had just completed for them. Like, it had 0 passes on it too. So they picked it up from me on Monday, and we went racing that weekend.
Oh man, that's awesome.
So, and I just spent time. I did the Holly on it, did some interior stuff, made sure all the wipers, turn signals, and all that stuff worked, which I was really glad. All that stuff came out great. So that all worked good. They had a little problem with the air conditioner, but I worked on that, but I didn't do that part. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna help you fix it, but yeah,
you'll be getting my invoice next week when we get back home.
Yeah.
That's probably not how it is when you're on a drag and drive.
When we're on drag and drive, it's just is what it is.
No
we
bill.
Just jump in there and we just take care of it. So
I'm sure Chad was probably loving the fuel mileage.
Oh, he told me, he goes, man, he goes, I'm glad it started raining. He goes, because I just drove in your ruts, and he goes, I got to sleep for about 2 hours because my truck just followed your car. I was like, So the drive from Flying H to Oklahoma City, we left and we did the whole drive, and I hit the hotel at 5 in the morning. But I watched the weather quite a bit all the time because I'm here in Oklahoma and I'm in Tornado Alley, so I got to be aware of what's going on. So I watched the weather and I could tell there was going to be some heavy storms. So I went ahead and we rolled through the night and made it to Oklahoma City, got to our room. That way we wouldn't get caught in a storm. We were in some rain, but we weren't in what some of the other people had to drive through.
Man.
And plus, I was rolling on drag radials, so SSs, but still, Boo calls those aqua treads because they're not like he said, you're not a man unless you have pros on it. I was like, okay.
I don't know. I didn't want to be any, we had like big time street tires on the cart and I was out. I didn't want to have any more to do with that. We were following Taco Time. They had no wipers. They're out front leading. I'm like, and they were on a radial tire too. I'm like, you guys are nuts, man. We're pulling off. We're off over here. We were soaked. It was wild. Yeah, Richard saying the drive was brutal. Yeah, aqua treads. Yeah, the drive, it wasn't bad, to be honest. The drive was pretty easy. I just wish we had been ahead of a lot of people, because in driving slow, we could have caught those photos and all that kind of stuff. We did get to hang out at Mel Hamilton's, which was really a great stop, man. There were so many people buying parts and all that kind of stuff. It was a really cool place.
I regret that I didn't. Yeah, I seen some of his pictures. So I regret that I didn't get to hang out there. So I did do a hood pose just for them.
Yeah.
Chad was there with me, and his wife goes, "How come you didn't do a hood pose?"
Right? Chad should have. It's it's classic Stoney right there.
Yeah. If you don't do a hood pose, was it even a drag and drive?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. It definitely wasn't.
That's why I had to park the black car, because I couldn't climb up on the hood. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So
get on that paint. It's too nice.
Yeah. So
Rob Lipinski, radials in the rain are great for changing lanes unexpectedly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Chris Story. I love the Uncle Stoney hood pose. Man, you've been doing that a long time. We did that at the car show out at the children's shelter one time. Man, that became a thing. That's pretty awesome.
A couple years ago, somebody said they coined the hood pose on drag and drive or on a race week in some year. So I threw him a picture of me on a hood when I was like 15, laid across the hood of a car. I'm like, but did you? Like, I've been doing this for 40 years. So
that's awesome.
I even have a picture of me as a baby on the hood of a Ford pickup. So it started at birth.
That's just your thing. You've been doing that your whole life.
It's just what I do.
Well, and before the show, as we close out this segment here, because we can get Matt on, before the show, we were talking about spouses, right? And bringing spouses. I said it's cool to bring a spouse as long as they're cool. That's not really the right terminology.
Yeah.
And then I said, bring your spouse as long as they want to come, because there's a lot of times where we talk our spouse into coming on these things, and drag and drive is hard. Drag and drive is very, very hard. So tell us how much fun Season had.
She had a blast. And what was really good is Doherty's wife came, and Angie Shepard came, and they really of the group, she had met Shanda before, but they had never hung out. And then of course she knew your wife, but she had a blast because she got to see all the things that I come home and tell her about, and then and she understands now why we don't call till like 3, 4, 5 in the morning. She's like, why do you guys call so late? Why do you drive so late? Why do you, So after doing one that, like, when we did the circuit deal, we drove to Tulsa and then drove back to Mocan. I mean,
it's not hard.
It's a drag and drive, but that's really not. That's like one leg of a drag and drive at one of the big races. So
exactly. I was worried when we were going to start talking about going to Ozark, and it was 220 something miles. I was like, wait, what? What am I worried about? What? Yeah. There wasn't a drive less than 250 miles on Mega Week.
Yeah, right.
Last part here. Danny Grubauer says the drive was wild. We left Flying H at 8:30 p.m. Tried to lose a right front wheel about 8 miles into the drive. Yep. Got to the checkpoint at 8 p.m. Oh, no. 8:30 a.m. the next morning. Sorry. And then got to the checkpoint at 8 p.m. So, 11 and a half hours later, which is about how long it took. Then helped Steve McDermott with his broken wheel studs and lower ball joint. Then shortly before the hotel, we watched Jacob Broyles fix his Mustang. They got to the hotel at 4:15 a.m. So a 20-hour day minimum out there. And just, man, that's what drag and drive is. And we talk like, I hate to tell these stories and make it sound awesome, but it is like that
It is.
struggle. People need that in their life. They need that hardness. They need to stay up too long. They need to be tired. They need that as a reset.
The thing about that, if you do drag and drive, everyday life is easy because it's like if you don't have a flat tire and the wheel come off and tear a fender off the trailer, it's like, man, what'd you really do today? You know.
That's
So
exactly right. I'm making that note as a great motivational part there, because that's
yeah,
exactly right.
but really, I mean, it's to get out and do what we do with our cars. There's guys that have cars that have them for years and don't do anything with them. Well, I've got cars that I've had for years and don't do anything with, and I need to do something with because, this car here, I don't know as far as total mileage, but James had this car for 10 years, and I probably put almost as many miles on it as a week, and he did in 10 years. And he did some drag and drive stuff, but it was stuff where it was like 60 and 80 mile drives, not 400.
Yeah.
It's like
In a day.
the first year, I believe is 20 that I talked Boo into taking his car, and I did the drive because that's before he had his LASIK and he couldn't see at night. So I did all the drives and then he raced. I put more miles on his car the first day than he had put on it since he had bought it on the
Man,
street.
that's wild.
So
That's wild.
yeah.
Richard Brewer here saying co-pilot Kyle took 5 days to get home from Mega Week. Probably because that dude needed rest, man. That dude needed, and it's pilot Kyle now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Neil Sabo. This is a great example. Says I usually don't talk to my wife that week. I don't know what time it is. That's
Right.
Melissa is so great about
Yes.
that with me. She's like, I just pull you up on Life 360 or find my phone or whatever and see that you're moving, and I know things are good. She's like, so I kind of give her an itinerary, but
always
other than that, you have no idea.
Mine always, she said, no matter what time it is, I want you to call when you hit the hotel. I just want to know that you made it to the next place.
Yeah.
So I'd always call her, no matter what time it was, I'd call her. And then now she's like, I wish you were just calling me. No, she didn't say that. She was, she was actually glad to be there, and we're already talking about the next one. She's going to be my co-pilot for the circuit too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Melissa keeps kind of threatening to come, and I'm like, her and I need to do a weekend event.
I'm just going to tell you, take her in the truck. Don't take her in the cart. Don't end up getting divorced. There's no reason. There's no reason to lose your wife over this deal.
A truck kind of girl, and I probably need to wait till it's cooler outside, and maybe something we can find in the fall. I wish I could work out race weekend.
We just need to put vintage air on that deal and make it your Drag Driver Pete official vehicle.
Oh, hey, and tow a camper.
I'm bringing it to you. I'm bringing you one.
I'm excited.
For the people that don't know, he's got a mobile office going to be en route. So
yeah, I'm excited. I've already measured the shop to make sure it fits in here, so I can work on it inside and all that kind of stuff. Man, it's gonna be bad to the bone. So for folks that don't know, the Winnebago that Bucket List Mob has is total motivation. I love that thing. That's what I want ultimately is an RV, so I can tow a golf cart and stuff like that. But Uncle Stoney here is the man and is bringing a like 16 or 18 foot camper that's vintage. It's going to look so freaking cool behind the old truck. So Steven is like, oh man, we can beef up the frame or we can frame swap the old truck. And then that's my goal for 26 is to drive that thing, tow that thing everywhere.
That's right.
Across the country.
Absolutely.
So, podcast studio, editing studio, basically inside, and an AC that we can hang meat in is my plan.
We did this race without a trailer, but I realize I'm still a trailer guy because I miss the trailer because of, we had to pack every day, unpack, and then we were at the track and it started sprinkling. We had to pack all the stuff back in the car and then unpack it again. And it's like, I'm still a trailer guy. So I'll be running the car over to Steven to get him to throw a hitch on here for me. So
nice. Yeah, that's awesome. The trailer makes a big difference. One, because you can carry just a little more stuff, and then you can also you pull up and unhook, swap your tires, and you're done. You're not literally like, if you want to find out what it's like to not have a trailer, when you go on vacation, pack your stuff every day and then unpack your stuff when you get to the hotel and then repack it in the morning. And then when you go to lunch, unpack it all again.
Yeah.
It's horrible, man. It's horrible. Yeah. The only way to do it is with a trailer. Jan Haas here saying, dude, that'll be rad. It's going to be really cool. And I appreciate your support and all of that. Okay. We've talked about your stuff enough. Sorry. We got to bring in Matt because I know that our stories are going to intersect and we're going to have a lot of fun with it. So big shout out to Deechworks as again, the official fuel delivery of Drag Driver Pete, of all of Drag and Drive, man. They really do an incredible job, and they probably already have a drop-in module if you have a car that's any kind of late model at all. they would have something that could support, they say anywhere from 400 to 2200 horsepower. But again, they were working on a 3-pump setup for a GTR that supports 3000. So if you're looking for fuel injectors, pumps, regulators, modules, anything to do fuel related, definitely look at DeechWorks. We appreciate them. They are huge supporters. They also support Chris Story. They support a lot of different, like Richard Brewer. They support him with all kinds of fun stuff, and they're really cool people. So anyways, all right. And one thing, we say race car friends all the time, but like Uncle Stoney is definitely one of our, you're like the first race car friend I had, really, so it's kind of fun to see how this has grown. And, we can't do this without everybody. So please hit the share button if you're out there. Make comments on the side, man. We already got a bunch of folks in here making comments. Appreciate that. It really does. Race car friends really does make the world go round. Like you got to have them to message at 2:00 in the morning and be like, dude, I don't want to work on this car anymore. And they're like, keep working on it, man.
And, we say race car friends, but we're actually, I would say, more family.
Yeah, you know a lot of stuff that people don't need to know about me.
Same.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right. And then, of course, the sponsors for Drag Driver Pete. We couldn't do, if you guys don't know, I drove up to Iowa or Illinois last week to be at 2 days at Six Summer. Eric is there with his dad all week. We were both just on Mega Week. We're going to be on the circuit here in 10 days, 7 days. Can't do that without our sponsors. So if you're trying to spend a little money, if you're trying to do some shopping for car stuff, hit these guys up. Summit Racing, DeechWorks, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cams, J-Wire Solutions, who's on Six Summer right now, winning or leading their class, WAF Racing, Performer Built Transmissions, Car Change 3D, Power Tube TV, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk Classifieds. Man, the list is long. I'm hoping if we can get this one deal worked out, it's going to be even longer here pretty soon. I'm super pumped about that.